Teleportation. After that incident with the sorceress, I'm surprised that I'm even considering going into that teleporter. But I must. I haven't yet found everything on this level, and I need to make sure I find everything. There might be a key or a switch or a secret way further down into the dungeon than the stairs I've already found. Well, there's only one thing for it. I should press on. The teleporter isn't that far away after all. Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Dungeon Hack. When last we left off, we're currently exploring this floor here. There are still a few things that we need to check out. For starters, we need to go into this room, we need to go down this corridor, and unlock this door. There may even be another door that we need to unlock, and that is that door. More importantly, there are two areas that we haven't yet explored in any detail at all. There's over here, but that's because we don't have the key yet. There is also here, which tells me that there must be a secret wall of some kind nearby. And I'm going to check this corridor, because it might be here. And the only way it can be is to the south, so I'm just going to go and have a look. And there is something funny about that wall, and that is because there is a secret wall there. And there are quite a lot of enemies in there too, that hit quite hard. 12 points of damage is a sturdy hit indeed, but fortunately it's no enemies that we haven't faced before. We haven't found the very difficult opponent for this floor yet. I'm getting very worried as to how difficult that foe is going to be. Mainly because these foes have been challenging enough, and I think healing might be a good idea here, just to make sure I don't run out of health. It's going to take 2 uses of Cure Light just to get me back to full health. We're pretty soon going to have to switch to using Cure Serious more often, but for now, Cure Light will do. How many more enemies are in here? The answer is, there is one foe, and that foe was not paying attention, which is good, because there's another foe as well. I need to take care of both of these, and I don't think there's anything in here that was worth my exploration, apart from the knowledge that these foes won't be ambushing me anytime soon. Alright, back over here we go, and how many foes are over here? Quite a lot is the answer. This area has had a lot of time to repopulate, with some tricky enemies, I wager, like gargoyles. If only they weren't gargoyles, eh? They might have been even worse foes that I'd have to defeat. We need to defeat all the enemies over here as well, because we have to go this way at some point. Now, where did they go? One foe went down there. I actually want to go into the teleporter last, because I really don't want to be flung into some kind of deadly death trap. For all I know, the teleporter could be where that very difficult foe is. Let's open this meanwhile. And there are at least 2 enemies. It looks like there are a lot of enemies in here. That's good, because I can defeat all of them, hopefully. Have at thee! Thee was had at. And any more foes? Doesn't? Aha, there is one more enemy here. And we'll just move back a little bit. There is one item over here. And that item is a staff. We don't really need a staff per se. It's unlikely to be anything particularly decent. Anything else in here? It looks like no. But we did find some enemies, and we did defeat those enemies, which is fine. We'll head this way and go down the final pathway in this area that I haven't explored yet. And it doesn't seem like, aha, anything in here? Yes, there is! There's an amulet. It looks very similar to the amulet I'm already wearing, so I imagine it's an amulet that has a similar effect. Do we have this key? We do have this key. Anything in here? The answer is, there's an enemy. There are 2 enemies, in fact. And we're going to back up a little bit because we don't want to get hit by both of them. There we go. Excellent. This exploration really hasn't yielded that much. We have found this area and a few enemies, but not too much else at the moment. Aha! We found a journal page. They're always good. Let's give it a read. I wish I had the power of the neutralize poison spell. Twice I was struck by the poisonous sting of the wyvern. Ah, wyverns. They are a tricky foe, but not as tricky as full-fledged dragons. I should be very cautious if someone is mentioning wyverns. There must be wyverns in here somewhere. How do they even fit in here? Wyverns are huge creatures. and their wings won't be very effective in a dungeon. But I'm thinking too much about this. Whoever designed this dungeon didn't care much for that. Wyverns are indeed a tricky foe, and they're a foe that I haven't really fought that often. By the time I tend to fight wyverns in tabletop games, they're usually something that we have to have in large groups for them to be vaguely threatening, and we can quite easily take them out otherwise. Hello, there is one foe over here, who managed to hit us for 11 points of damage. I'm going to be resting before I go into that teleporter anyway, so it doesn't matter provided this foe doesn't kill us. 4 points of damage is a little bit closer to that foe killing us, but not this time, Mr. Gargoyle. Not this time. You were close, though, I'll give you that. We're going to rest, and we might as well use Create Food and Water. I know that I have it prepared all the time, but I'd rather have it prepared all the time and have it available whenever I need it, rather than have to remember to keep switching it out. There we go. We're back to full health, 38 hit points. Remember when we only had 15? That felt like such a long time ago. And now, into the teleporter, which immediately put us in a situation where we are being hit by enemies. 2 enemies, in fact, or is it just 1? It's just 1 that is hitting really quickly and hard. And there is a key here. Aha! A stone key. We need that stone key for a door that we've encountered previously. Anything in here? The answer is no. And there's nothing down there either, which tells me that we need to go a different route to get there. Specifically, I think we need to go this way, and there are a lot of foes this way. So we have a few more doors left to open. Okay, we only have 2 doors left to open. This door I think is opened by a switch, and that door is opened by the key that we've just found. So we might as well rest up and get ready to head back the way we came. Backtracking does yield us the experience of defeating the monsters, but not much else right now. We haven't found any really awesome equipment. Hello, Mr. Gargoyle, we're currently trapped. I hope you don't hurt us too badly. We can always backtrack into the... Never mind, I was just about to say we can always backtrack into the teleporter if we needed to. But we didn't need to, and this area is already repopulating quite quickly. I should move with haste if I'm to avoid all of these foes. Just focusing more on the minimap right now than what's ahead of me, because the minimap will show me where the enemies are, and then I can react from there. Double checking just to make sure there's nothing in there, and there is nothing in there. I wanted to go through here, didn't I? The answer is, I did, and there are enemies ahead that I need to watch out for. Like you! Careful! 4 points of damage, wasn't careful enough. A little bit more careful next time. If only the enemies didn't know there were secret walls as well, but it does make sense that they know. After all, this is the place that they live, whereas Celadran doesn't live here. So they'd know all of the secrets of this place, although I imagine they will fall victim to some of the traps occasionally. Especially the traps that fire things. I imagine the AI isn't smart enough to avoid them. So be careful. There will be areas where I'll try to run away from enemies and I'll be slowed while I'm down a corridor. I need to pay more attention to this area of the screen than this area when that happens, because Celadran will inform me when that occurs. Are we getting pretty close? I think we're getting pretty close, and I clicked the wrong thing there. We're getting very close, but there are 2 enemies behind me. I should probably take care of them first. 11 points of damage, I should probably heal first, because ouch, that hurt quite a lot. Fortunately, I already have this ready. Really should have the shield ready instead. But I have this here, and that's a good second. We'll just go here, because this enemy is doing quite well at following us. Good job! Your reward is death. And there was one more enemy down here. Where did that enemy go? Where did that enemy go? That enemy went up, didn't it, rather than down? Yes, it did. We'll go and find you, don't worry. And then we'll open that door, and then you will perish. There you are, hello. And goodbye. We're going to rest here, because we're right next to the room that we need to be at. And is this room going to be the place where we find that dangerous foe? The answer is... anything in here? There is nothing in here at all, which means that the other area that we haven't been to, the final area, is the place that we need to go to. I'm getting a little worried now because the foes here have been, as I said, difficult enough, and now we have to fight a foe that is even more dangerous. I mean, there are a lot of enemies here, but I can take these enemies out in a single hit, or 2 hits if I'm unlucky. But we haven't found a foe yet that is, we haven't found one that inflicts poison, we haven't found one that inflicts level drain, and we haven't found any that are really, really fast, and I'm getting worried that we're going to find one of them soon enough. We are, after all, quite far into the dungeon already. I believe, if we camp here... there is something that somebody did, want me to check. Somebody wants to know what that enemy was that spat acid at us. The answer is, it's a kind of ghoul. We've also fought and killed 51 gargoyles. And those hobgoblins that I thought were hobgoblins are actually bugbears. My mistake. Now that we've checked that, let us move on. There is only one area that we've yet to go to, and I believe it is down here. There is one foe over there, and I'd rather defeat that foe before I go and explore a new area, because I don't want to have to run away and be flanked by that enemy. So we're going to go down here. We're going to look at this. That wasn't actually a switch, it was a gem, and we have the gem right here. But we're going to rest first, and then we're going to save, because I'm very concerned that this is going to be something very nasty indeed. And just because I'm that concerned, I'm going to use those spiritual hammers. Let's get those ready. I'm going to need this actually in my hand, aren't I? Let's see, we have spiritual hammer number 1. Excellent. And how do we make spiritual hammer number 2? You require at least 1 hand free. We could put that down there. So we're going to have to rest again, and try that once more. Yes, that spiritual hammer will disappear, but that's fine. It's all a learning experience, so we have 1 spiritual hammer there, and then if we cast this again, we'll get a 2nd one. And then we can dual wield them, and hopefully this will be sufficient to take on any enemy that's in here. I highly hope, anyway. Alright, let's throw these. And they do a small amount of damage, and they do eventually come back. Okay, they're quite nasty, actually, and that one is going to take a while to return to me. Any other foes in here? Well, there's you, and you are just dead. The difficulty we're going to have with these is that whenever we miss, the hammer is going to take quite a while to come back. And there is a foe here. Okay, that's a foe that we've seen before, and this foe dropped a ration, which is good. Anything else? And there is a foe here as well. That foe is also rather easy to defeat. Where did that foe go? Did that foe just die? I think it did. And there is a gargoyle. That's fine. We can take on a gargoyle. That is a new foe. That foe looks very nasty. That foe is moving very quickly too. I do not like that foe. We're going to back up quite a bit here. A lot, actually. And I've backed up into a small room. This is a bad thing. I need to definitely get past you. Whoops. So we found an enemy that's really dangerous. Really, really dangerous. And I have backed myself into a corner. I need to go this way. That is not a good thing to do. I have no idea what that enemy is. I don't like that enemy either. And I really need to unequip this so I can do some healing, because that enemy is fast and hits really, really hard. Hopefully these spiritual hammers are going to be enough to take care of it, because if they're not, I'm going to have to run away quite a bit, and then try and fight it at another time, after I've rested, of course. So this enemy appears to be stuck in this room, and we're going to tempt fate by having this enemy come out and try to fight us. But this enemy is really bad at navigating out of this room. I think that will be enough, and we're going to throw some more spiritual hammers at it again. It is really, really fast. You can see how quickly it's navigating towards me. We're going to have to be very careful. There we go, we'll just go this way. And it hits really hard as well. That's really not encouraging. Fortunately, I don't think this enemy... Oh, wait, this enemy is able to get to us. This is quite challenging. We have to back up a lot if we're going to stand a chance at defeating this enemy. And I believe, the enemy is gone. And we got a dogwood wand for our troubles. What on earth was that? I've never fought something so horrifying. It was so inhumanly quick, and it hit so hard, it almost felt like it was something otherworldly. I don't like that at all. If I'm going to face more things like that, I'll have to be very, very careful. I should rest and recover. There might be more of them further in. There may be more down this very corridor. I think I was lucky there. Very lucky indeed. And I think we were rather lucky that we had spiritual hammers ready to go. Where is the flail? I need that flail again. There we go. We can actually check the creature totals to find out what that was. That was a ghost warrior. That is an enemy that I have never encountered before, and I hope that that wand is something that's pretty good. Actually, we can check. We can use the mirror to find out exactly what it is. What is this wand? And the scrying glass is now gone. It is a wand of smiting +3. I don't remember if a wand of smiting +3 can be used in melee as well, but I imagine it'll be pretty good against the undead. We need to be very careful, though, going down here, because there might be more foes like that. There's a big, large room that has it has things in it. It has another staff, and it has a magenta potion. We don't know what the magenta potion is. And there's nothing else here. Is there anything else here? I think that might be everything. So we did all of this for a wand of smiting, a few staffs, and a potion that we don't know the identity of. Well, that's not too bad. And we also got a lot of experience for defeating that enemy, I imagine. Oh yes, I think we got quite a lot of experience. And so now that we defeated the tough foe at this level, there is nothing left to stop us from going down to the next floor, apart from the fact that I'm very worried as to what we're going to find on the next floor. This might be the trickiest floor that we've encountered yet, and I'd be very surprised if it wasn't, to be honest, because, after all, we're going down a level, and that means that the foes are just going to get even more tricky. I haven't yet found an opponent that does level drain. I'm very glad that I haven't found an opponent yet that does level drain. But my luck may be about to run out. We're going to save again, because we're going down a floor. You never know what we're going to find when we go down a floor. Let's go into the dark and down further into this dungeon. And this level is finely worked indeed. It's starting to look more like an ancient temple than a dungeon. I wonder who the temple was in honor of. I should be very cautious, though. I don't know what kind of foes are in here. There may be more of those ghost warriors. I really hope there aren't. There are also quite a lot of doors here. And I have never heard that sound before. I do not like that. This door can open by us just pressing this button. And the door just sort of fades away. That's a really cool effect. Haven't found any enemies yet. There may be an enemy over here, a wall over here that we can walk through, and there isn't. What is down here? What foe am I going to have to fight? I have no idea, but the surroundings of this level really haven't made me feel at home. I'm not surprised, because this dungeon is full of danger. Oh, that is a shadow, I believe. That's a shadow. And if there's one thing you never ever want a shadow to do, it's hit you in melee, because I think shadows could level drain you. So, we're going to get Spiritual Hammer ready. We might get a couple of them ready, or maybe just one for now. Shadows are dangerous, and we don't want to lose all of our spell casting and everything else, so we're just going to find this opponent. Where is this opponent? There you are, hello! And we're just going to... That did not work. Oh no, it did work. Just going to hit you a few times, and hopefully you're going to die. You're not dead yet. Let's keep going. Oh wait, you're dead now. That is encouraging that we can defeat them quite easily, but we can't defeat a significant number of them. Okay, let's double check that that actually was a shadow. The answer is... that was a... no, that was a wraith. They're just as bad. They're just as bad. It kind of look like a shadow, but it's a wraith. They are just as bad. Reminding me a little too much of the White Tower with the tower wraiths there. This tapestry appears to be dedicated to the element of earth. Are we in the Temple of Elemental Evil? I don't think we are. At least I hope we're not. Also, these enemies are still going to be held back by doors, even though as a wraith they can just float through the walls. Be glad that that is the case, because you don't want wraiths to sneak up behind you. We'll have to do some more exploring, but that will be for next time, as when we come back, we'll continue to explore the beginnings of the 5th level of this dungeon, with a spiritual hammer at the ready at all times, because we don't want those enemies to hit us. This level has a lot of doors, and I think we already have a few keys for them, so we may go back and check those out. So I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. I should be able to repel the undead with my divine power, but at the same time I don't want to get too close to them. Ah, conundrums indeed. Later.